Reproduction in Plants. Learning about modes of reproduction. Nature has blessed us with beautiful landscape. If you observe them carefully, you will enjoy the beauty of nature, its colorful look with mountains, rivers, and forests. In this chapter, we are going to study about plants. Observe all the plants around us. We see that some plants are small, some are very big, while some are just patches of green on the soil. Some have green leaves, while some others have reddish ones. Some have huge red flowers, some have tiny blue ones, while some have none. Today we are going to study reproduction in plants. To produce its kind is a characteristic of all living organisms. The production of new individuals from their parents is known as reproduction. But how do plants reproduce? There are different modes of reproduction in plants, which we shall learn in this chapter. Modes of reproduction. Let us quickly revise the different parts of the flowering plant. Most plants have roots, stems, and leaves. These are called the vegetative parts of a plant. After a certain period of growth, most plants bear flowers. Let us see the mango tree, which starts flowering in spring. It is these flowers that gives rise to juicy mango fruit we enjoy in summer. We eat the fruits and usually discard the seeds. Seeds germinate and form new plants. So, what is the function of flowers in plants? The flowers perform the function of reproduction in plants. Flowers are the reproductive parts of a plant. A flower may have either the male part or the female part, or both male and female parts. There are several ways by which plants produce their offspring. These are categorized into two types. One, asexual, and second, sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction, plants can give rise to new plants without the seeds. Whereas in sexual reproduction, new plants are obtained from the seeds. Asexual reproduction. In asexual reproduction, new plants are obtained without production of seeds or spores. Vegetative propagation. It is a type of asexual reproduction in which new plants are produced from roots, stems, leaves, and buds. Since reproduction is through the vegetative parts of the plant, it is known as vegetative propagation. In vegetative propagation, we can just cut a branch of a rose or champa with a node. The branch of it is termed a cutting. We just bury the cutting in the soil. We water the cutting every day and observe its growth. In few days, roots come out and the new leaves arise. We have seen flower buds developing into flowers. Apart from flower buds, there are buds in the axil, point of attachment of the leaf at the node, of leaves which develop into shoots. These buds are called vegetative buds. A bud consists of a short stem around which immature overlapping leaves are folded. The vegetative buds can also give rise to new plants. Plants such as cacti produce new plants when their parts get detached from the main plant body. Each detached part can grow into a new plant. Plants produced by vegetative propagation takes less time to grow and bear flowers and fruits earlier than those produced from the seeds. The new plants are exact copies of the parent plant as they are produced from a single parent. Budding. You have already learnt about the tiny organisms like yeast can be seen only under a microscope. These grow and multiply every few hours if sufficient nutrients are made available to them. Remember that yeast is a single-celled organism. Let us see how they reproduce. Activity. Take a piece of yeast cake or yeast powder from a bakery or a chemist shop. Take a pinch of yeast and place it in a container with some water. Add a spoonful of sugar and shake to dissolve it. Keep it in the warm part of a room. After an hour, put a drop of this liquid on a glass slide and observe under a microscope. What do you observe? You may see the formation of new yeast cells. The small bulb-like projection coming out from the yeast cell is called a bud. The bud gradually grows and gets detached from the parent cell and forms a new yeast cell. The new yeast cell grows, matures, and produces more yeast cells. If this process continues, a large number of yeast cells are produced in a shorter time. Fragmentation. You might have seen slimy green patches in ponds or in other stagnant water bodies. These are the algae. When water and nutrients are available, algae grows and multiplies rapidly by fragmentation. An alga breaks up into 2 or more fragments. These fragments or pieces grow into a new individual. Spore formation. We have learned that the fungi on a bread piece grows from spores which are present in the air. Observe the spores in the cotton-like mesh on the bread. When spores are released, they keep floating in the air. As they are very light, they can cover long distances. Spores are asexual reproductive bodies. Each spore is covered by a hard protective coat to withstand unfavorable conditions such as high temperature and low humidity, so they can survive for a long time. Under favorable conditions, a spore germinates and develops into a new individual. Plants such as moss and ferns also reproduce by means of spores. Summary. All organisms multiply or reproduce their own kind. In plants, there are 2 modes of reproduction, asexual and sexual. There are several methods of asexual reproduction such as fragmentation, budding, spore formation, and vegetative propagation. That is all in this topic, students. Keep learning!